Right. So on the screen are some of the items that we will be reviewing today. The benefit choices with Aetna, no change to that. We do have enhancements to the dental program and the vision program, and then we'll be going over the voluntary options with Unum and Aflac. Your open enrollment period starts on the 5th, and then you have until November 12th to complete your D2 online enrollment. So if you haven't received an email from the automated system, you should be receiving it today. If it'll be open and available, so you can go in there and start your option. So anybody either enrolling or declining, we do ask that everybody log into the system and complete that process. And then the benefits that you will be reviewing and enrolling in are effective January 1st, 2020 and are locked in until December 31st, 2020. Eligibility, aside from yourself, legal spouse is also eligible, domestic partner, and children up to the age of 26. As previously stated, all of your pre-tax or all of your IRS Section 125 plans, such as your medical, dental, vision, those are all locked in for 12 months. You cannot make any changes unless you've experienced a qualifying event. A few samples there on the screen: marriage, divorce, birth of a child, adoption, being eligible for Medicare or Medicaid, or coming off of the federal exchange or onto the federal exchange. Those buy you 60 days to communicate with your HR representative here at CBR. Any other qualifying event, marriage, divorce, birth of a child, adoption, those are 31 days. So make sure you notify your HR representative within that time period, or else you have to wait until the next open enrollment period to make any adjustments or changes to your enrollment. We're going to go over the plans that are available. As I stated earlier, there are no changes. You still have the Aetna Open Access Managed Choice plans, which are the broad or national network, cover all of the United States. So we'll go over the high deductible health plan first. That does, again, no changes there, stays the same. If you have your HSA account open with UMB Bank, you do not need to do anything with that account if you re-enroll in this high deductible health plan. If for the 2020 plan year you decide to go on to a different plan that is not a high deductible health plan, you can no longer contribute to that account, but you can definitely utilize those funds. So again, this is the Open Access Managed Choice high deductible of $5,000. So $5,000 being the individual deductible and $10,000 being the family deductible. So once that deductible is met, then you're going to cost share with Aetna. At that point, Aetna picking up 80% of the cost, and you pick up 20% until you reach that out-of-pocket maximum. So that would be $6,350 for an individual, $12,700 for the family. So that is not on top of the deductible. That includes the deductible. So any copays for pharmacy, doctor visits, emergency room, urgent care, all of that goes towards meeting that out-of-pocket maximum. If you should meet that out-of-pocket maximum in a calendar year and in network, then you would be into 100% coverage for all services. You would still have your deductions on your paycheck. Office visits, urgent care, and emergency room and prescriptions are all subject to that deductible. The only items that are not subject to the deductible are preventative exams and some pharmacy. So it would be preventative drugs and contraceptives. Those would all be available to you prior to your deductible. If you have a question, if your particular medication falls under that free category, you can email me directly. Or if you have an Aetna profile today, you can go online and search the formulary and see where that falls on the high deductible health plan. Any questions on this plan? Okay, the next plan is called the Open Access Managed Choice 6350. So this plan, your individual deductible is $6,350. Your family deductible is $12,700. Now, if you meet that deductible and individual or as a family, you are into 100% coverage at that point because the deductible and the out-of-pocket maximum are exactly the same. You do also have office visits available at prior to your deductible, so that deductible does not have to be met. So your office visits for a regular physician, walk-in clinics, or telemedicine, $25 per visit. Again, preventative is covered at 100% in this plan. Now, your urgent care and emergency room are subject to that deductible first. I wanted to let you know that if you enroll in that high deductible health plan and you need the telemedicine service, it is a $45 copay for that service. Any questions on these two plans? Okay, the next two plans that are available, the Open Access Managed Choice 3500, this one also being a high deductible health plan. This has an individual high deductible of $3,500 and a family deductible of $7,000. If you should meet that deductible in a calendar year, you're going to go into cost share with Aetna. Aetna picking up 80% of the cost, and you pick up 20 until you reach that maximum out of pocket. Again, all copays, all expenses going towards meeting that out of pocket maximum. Your preventative care, your contraceptives, and your maintenance drugs, again, are covered prior to your deductible. Everything else, whether it be your regular office visits, urgent care, emergency room, and other medications, are all going to be subject to your deductible first. So with both of the high deductible health plans, you still want to show your Aetna ID card so you get the best contract and negotiated rate with those providers. So keep that in mind when visiting your physicians. As stated before, if you have an HSA account today and you want to re-enroll in that high deductible health plan, you can continue to add money into that account. If you're enrolled in the high deductible health plan today and for 2020 you do not enroll that plan, you can no longer add money, but you can utilize the funds that are in there for qualified medical expenses. Copays, pharmacy, surgeries, LASIK, dental work, glasses, things of that nature. The next plan is the Open Access Managed Choice Basic 2500. This has a $2,500 individual deductible and a $5,000 family deductible. Your coinsurance or cost share with Aetna, Aetna will pick up 80%. You could pick up 20% of the cost. Your out-of-pocket maximum on this plan is $6,350 for an individual, $12,700 for the family. Again, preventative care on all the plans covered at 100%. Additionally, if you need to see specialists and you're enrolled in any of the Aetna plans, you can self-refer to specialists. You do not need your primary care physician to write a referral for you. And then on this plan, your office visits, your telemedicine visits, your walk-in clinics are subject to a $35 copay, and your specialist visits are also subject to a $35 copay. On this plan, you are limited to 5 visits per year combined office and specialist at that $35 copay. Those visits do not include your telemedicine, so that's separate from these visits. So you can have as many telemedicine visits that you would need at that $35 copay. Now, if you exceed the 5 visits for a regular doctor or specialist, at that point, you would be paying the contracted negotiated rate with those providers. On this plan, your urgent care and your emergency room are all going to be subject to your deductible, and then you have a 30-day retail supply, same as all of the other plans. Any questions? Okay, we'll speak briefly about the health savings account. Again, as I mentioned earlier, if you have it today and you're going to re-enroll in a high deductible health plan, you can continue to do that. If you're enrolling for the first time, just make sure your account with UMB Bank is open before any claims hit. If you fail to open your UMB account for those HSA dollars to be deposited into, and let's say in February you open it, but you had claims in January, you cannot use those dollars for those January claims. That account has to be open prior to any claims hitting the medical, and in order to utilize those funds for those claims. A few notes on here, the allowed maximum is going up for 2020. So as an individual, under IRS rules, that increased to $3,550 and $7,100 for an employee plus. So it could be an employee plus spouse, child, or family. And then collectively, if your significant other, whether it be a spouse or domestic partners, are also enrolled in the high deductible health plan, collectively you cannot go over the $7,100. And if you do, the IRS likes to tax that at about 40%. And if you fall into the category of 55 plus but not yet enrolled in any part of Medicare, you can add an initial $1,000 to those maximums. So it becomes $4,550 and $8,150. And again, that is for the 2020 calendar year. A few things to make note of. First, you have to be enrolled in a high deductible health plan in order to qualify for an HSA. You cannot be covered by any other plans that are not a qualified HSA. You cannot be enrolled in any part of Medicare, and you cannot be claimed as somebody else's dependent on their tax returns. Those HSA dollars that you put into the account, that's your money, stays with you, goes with you. And if you have your account today and you manage to reach $1,000 threshold in there, you can start investing those dollars, and any interest earned is tax-free. And then as we reach Medicare age, we can utilize that money similarly to a 401k, and those monies are also tax-free. So it's a really good triple tax saving option. Any questions? Okay, next we're going to talk about the flexible spending account. Some of you may have already received an email from our HR department reminding you that open enrollment is now available for your health savings account. So you have two types of savings account or flexible spending accounts. One is a medical and the other one is dependent. So similar to a health savings account, the flexible spending account is a amount that you elect to come out of your payroll pre-tax and go into an account. So with the flexible spending account, that money that you've chosen goes into that account and is front-loaded from day one. So if you decided to do the annual maximum of $2,500, when you receive your Visa card, you have the full $2,500 to utilize, and then the amount is deducted per paycheck for the rest of the calendar year. With this plan, we do have a $500 carryover provision, which means on December 31st, 2020, if you have $500 in there, you can carry it over into the 2021 plan year. Anything in excess of the $500 will be forfeited. Additionally, if you leave the company, whatever money is in that account stays in that account, and you cannot take it with you. You lose that money. There are some samples of eligible expenses: medical copays, dental, orthodontic, vision, prescriptions, and medical supply. And then you also have access to dependent care flexible spending accounts. So this is for adult or children care. A set dollar amount up to $5,000 per calendar year. Again, pre-tax. The money is deducted from your paycheck per pay period and goes into an account that you can utilize to pay your providers or pay yourself back for those services. Just a quick note, if you enroll in the high deductible health plan, you cannot enroll in the health flexible spending account. It has to be either one. It cannot be both. Any questions? Okay.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. If you have a Medicare account, or not Medicare, MediShare, if we're doing MediShare for health insurance, then is it okay to use a flexible spending account?
Yes. So the flexible spending account, you can enroll in that without enrolling in any of the benefits.
Oh, okay.
That is a standalone plan that you can use. So all of the plans that we're reviewing and we'll continue to review are all a la carte or standalone plans, with the exception of the health savings account. It is tied to a high deductible health plan, so you need to enroll in the high deductible health plan in order to open that HSA. The flexible spending account you can use in combination with your MediShare plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to be talking about MediShare later?
No, I will not be discussing MediShare. It's not something that we manage internally.
Okay.
I'm going to go over some of the Aetna resources that are available to anybody enrolled in the Aetna plan. So you have access to a nurse on call 24/7, 365. The nurse on call has all of your medical information at their disposal, so they can speak to you about conditions, about pharmacy, drug interaction, side effects, things of that nature. They can also say, you know, your condition, you probably need to go to urgent care, emergency room, or it's not that bad, maybe use a telemedicine provider. So it's a good resource. It's free. It's available 24/7. Also available on the Aetna website, a program called Global Fit. They have wellness coaching, a wellness program. You can go in and do your own health risk assessment, and they have gym discounts available throughout the US. Like everybody else, Aetna also has their mobile app that you can download to your telephone, and you can have your ID at your disposal. You can find a pharmacy and urgent care, and if you're traveling, it's a really good tool to have if you need to get to a pharmacy. Um, if you enroll in any of the Aetna plans, you also have access to telemedicine with Teladoc. And as I stated earlier, your copay for your general medicine is based on whatever plan you're enrolled in. So if you enroll in a high deductible health plan, your copay is $45. You also have access to specialists such as dermatology, psychiatrists, and psychologists. Those are available again 24/7, 365. I do recommend, if you have not enrolled in this program, to go to the website, enroll, and download the app to your telephone. Similarly to when you go see a doctor, they have a few questions. They'll want a form of payment. So it's easier to do it before you need it than when you're in need. You know, last thing you want to deal with if you're dealing with yourself being ill or sick, dependent, is having to answer a bunch of medical questions. Any questions on these services? Okay, next we're going to talk about a new program that has just been launched with Aetna. So anybody enrolled on the Aetna program has the opportunity to enroll in the Attain program. So this is a program that is a collaboration between Apple and Aetna. So here at CBR, we piloted the program in early October, and there was a few of us that participated in the program. So it is an app that downloads to your iPhone. You enroll, you log in with your Aetna ID card, ID information, and then you're able to order an iWatch at a very reasonable price. So personally, I purchased one of the less extravagant models, if you will. I pay $8 a month if I don't do anything. If I meet some of my goals that Aetna has set for me, then those $8 start to go down. Currently, I'm at $2 that I owe Aetna. Very simple to use. It's a great way to start or continue on a wellness path if that's where you are. So simple to use. Just download the app to your phone. Order your watch online through the app, and then you link the two accounts. So you're going to link your watch to your phone, and they start talking to each other, and then it also links to your Aetna profile. And if you meet your daily or monthly goals, then basically the phone is free. Additional to the phone being free, you also have the ability to earn points that you can cash in for gift cards and things of that nature. So these are actual screenshots from my phone as I went in, started downloading the information. And those are, once you get points, you can turn them in, either pay for the phone or turn them in for gift cards. This is a screenshot from my phone as of this morning. I have 7,045 points for the month. And currently I owe for my watch $2. So as I continue to build those points, my watch is going to be free to me. So it is a 24-month contract with Aetna. And again, if you don't do anything, if you don't want to participate in the wellness, but you think it's a really good way to purchase the watch, then it's $8 a month and it comes automatically out of your checking account. Some of the wellness goals are quite simple. It is simple, 1-minute breathing exercises, getting a preventative health screen, whether it be a physical or a dental or a vision exam. And it also asks answering some health risk assessment questions. You get points for those types of items. It isn't really difficult. It's not like they want you to go run a marathon or an Ironman, anything, but if that's definitely where you are in your wellness goals, then that'll be a lot easier for you. So it's very personalized. It meets you at your level. So if you're enrolled, I highly recommend to go on and look at the program and see if it's something that you want to do. Any questions? Okay, we're going to go over some of the changes. So the biggest changes for 2020 are the dental programs and the vision. So we are moving away from the Aetna PPO and the Aetna DMO. Those are going away effective 12/31/19. So the Delta Dental of Arizona plan, the Delta Dental contracts by state. So wherever you sit in the US, you're going to have access to a huge network. If you have a provider now, you can just let them know and give them your new ID card. The only thing that they need to worry about is where to submit the claims. So if you sit in a state outside of Arizona, which I think a lot of you do, you need to make sure to give them that claims information, because that's where we have seen some challenges where the particular states, let's just say the state of North Carolina, they want to submit everything to Delta Dental of North Carolina. It is Delta Dental of Arizona, even though it's a shared network throughout the U.S. That's just this piece of advice for those of you that are going to be enrolling in this plan. So on this plan, similar to today's Aetna plan, your preventative care services, your cleanings twice a year are going to be covered at 100%. Additionally, if you have any medical conditions such as heart disease or diabetes or are pregnant, you have availability for extra cleanings at no cost to you. Your basic services such as a cavity are going to be covered at 80%, and you pick up 20% of the cost and Delta will pick up 80. And at that time, you will be subject to a one-time deductible of $50 for an individual, $150 for the family. Okay. Major services such as a crown, it's going to be a 50-50 cost share between yourself and Delta Dental. The annual maximum for each person enrolled in the dental plan is $1,500. So that's how much Delta Dental will pay it on your behalf. And then additionally, for any children enrolled in the plan, there's additional $1,500 orthodontia benefit that can be utilized per lifetime. The benefits for the Delta Dental pay exactly the same whether you stay in network or out of network. So if you have a provider that you absolutely don't want to change and they're not contracted with Delta, Delta Dental will still pay them the schedule that's on the screen, the $180.50. The difference is going to be that some of those out-of-network providers can balance bill you. So they will gladly take whatever Delta Dental pays them, but if there's any balance owing because they don't have a contract with Delta, that may be your responsibility. Delta Dental does pay their providers really good. It's the really rich benefit. So it depends on your dentist and the relationship you have if there's going to be a balance owing. The next plan that's replacing the current Aetna DMO is the Delta Dental USA DHMO plan. So very similar to today's plan, as you have to pick a provider. So the DHMO providers under Delta Dental are a pretty good sized network throughout the United States. Within the information that was disseminated to you guys either last night or this morning, there's information on how to find a provider. So you do have to pick your provider. If you don't pick a provider, if you go through the enrollment process, and you will see when you get onto D2, if you don't pick a provider, then Delta will assign one to you based on your home zip code. Your preventative care services under this plan are covered at 100%. Your basic services, major services, and orthodontia is all a fee schedule. So it's a dental code that these providers have a signed contract with Delta that they will not charge you more than that amount. So on the screen, these are actual D codes. This is a sample of what it looks like. So everything that is going to be done has a code associated with it. So as you can see, this is the diagnostic page. So most of these are at no cost to you. There's a $5 reevaluation fee after that first visit if you need to go back for a reevaluation. Cleanings are covered free, but if you need additional cleanings, they're $45. Dentures are covered, teeth bleaching is covered, adult orthodontia is covered, child orthodontia is covered. Everything under the sun is on the guide. And if you didn't receive the fee schedule, let me know and I will gladly send it out to you. You will get a new ID card from Delta Dental, should come mid to late December. If you enroll in the PPO plan, you will get one from there. If you enroll in the DHMO plan, you'll get cards as well. It looks like to what's on the screen. They're ID cards with your provider's information. Now, if you didn't pick a provider and Delta assigns you one, you can change that provider anytime during the year. As long as you go into the website or call before the 25th of the current month, you will have access to your new provider the first of the following month. So you're free to make changes, and every person in your home may have a different provider. Not everybody's tied to the same provider. So it's a really good benefit there. Any questions on the Delta Dental?
Yes, I had a question. Last year we signed up, in July, and then we went to the dentist in October. My wife went to the dentist and had to have some major work done, and they declined to cover it because they said we had to actually have paid into the plan for 1 year before we could benefit from the major dental services. Is that going to be the same this time as well, that we're going to have to pay into it for a year before we can benefit from the services?
So Delta Dental has no waiting periods for major, for orthodontia, for none of the services. You can go in January and have major dental work done, a crown, root canal, all that, and there are no waiting periods on the Delta Dental plan.
Okay, thanks. That's all I needed to know.
You're welcome. Okay, the deltadentalofArizona.com website is available. Once you get your ID card, I recommend you go and enroll, create your login, your profile, so you can go in and print ID cards if you need to, print new ones. You can review your explanation of benefits, see how much of the benefit you have utilized. You can also take some oral health risk assessments to see where you fall and if you're at risk for any type of gum disease. And of course, like everybody else, Delta Dental also has their mobile app. And it does have a toothbrush timer as well on there if anybody has dependents that need to brush for 2 minutes or more. Next, we're going to go over the vision plan. So there is a change to this vision plan as well. It is still with iMed. The biggest change is the network and the frequency. So you still have your exams available every 12 months. And because this is a new program, and if you're enrolled today with iMed beginning in January, it is a new iMed program with a new network. You can go and get your exam immediately. You don't have to wait the full 12-month calendar. So typically when you're on a program, a vision program, you have to wait 12 months to the day to go get your next exam. Because it's a new program, you can go in immediately and get your exam prior to that 12-month. And then one of the enhancements to this program is the frames are now available every 12 months versus every 24 months. The network does provide additional savings and deeper discounts because it pays their providers a little bit more money, so they're able to pass those savings on to you. You have a $120 allowance to use towards your frames, and then you get a 20% discount if you purchase frames that are over $120. Keep in mind you can use your FSA dollars and your HSA dollars for all of both the dental services, out-of-pocket expenses, and your vision benefit. So your lenses are available every 12 months. So the most vision providers view lenses, whether it be lenses with your frames or contact lenses, exactly the same way. So you have that benefit available every 12 months, but if you want to get full frames and lenses 1 year, then that contact benefit goes away, and vice versa. If you use your contact lens benefit in 2020, you still have your frame allowance, and you can purchase the lenses at a 40% discount. So it's you still have the availability to get both of them the same year, but the best benefit is getting it every other year. It's just more cost effective. Or again, you can use your HSA or FSA dollars for that. Additionally, any lens treatments such as UV coating, polycarbonate, all of that is now a copay versus a percentage of cost. So if you receive the benefit summary for the vision, you can see that there's now a copay associated to any of those treatments to the lenses. Again, those lenses, single vision, bifocal, and trifocal, available every 12 months. It's a $10 copay. Then your contact lenses, again, available every 12 months. And it's not in lieu of frames; it's in lieu of frames and contacts or lenses. Not frames, is available, and you get an $80 allowance to use, and then you get a 15% discount. Now, the contact lens benefit is available once a year. So if you go in early January and you get 6 months supply of contact lenses and you don't utilize the full $80, you cannot utilize that benefit until the following year. So I would recommend purchasing additional contact lenses or solutions, whatever, to maximize those dollars. Any medically prescribed contact lenses are going to be covered at 100%. And again, just one of the enhancements to the program, that those frames are now available every 12 months, and the new name of the network, Insight. Any questions? Okay. Next, we're going to get over the voluntary products of the life and accidental death and dismemberment. If you enrolled when you were newly eligible or a new hire in the life insurance, in the voluntary life insurance, and you did not max out at 5 times your annual earnings up to $200,000 guarantee issue, you can increase with no medical underwriting. If you did not enroll the first time around, this time you will have some medical questions that need to be answered, and depending on the amount that you want to elect, it could be an exam as well. So again, new hires or newly eligibles, you have that 5 times annual earnings guarantee issue up to $200,000, spouses $25,000, and dependent children $10,000. You also have voluntary short and long-term disability available. So that both programs with Unum, this short-term disability covers 60% of your pre-disability earnings up to $1,000 a week. The benefits begin after the 14th day of accident or sickness, and this does not cover on the job or on location. It is strictly outside of those events. So the benefit duration is up to 11 weeks, depending on what the disability is. It can be less than that. And then if you enroll today, if you already enrolled in the short-term or long-term disability, you do not need to make any changes. You do not need to re-enroll. If you're enrolled in the life insurance and your age for 2020 ends in a 5 or a 0, you will notice a difference in premium, and it usually goes up. There is a pre-existing clause with the short-term disability, as you can see there. So if you were treated or saw a physician or took medication in 3 months from the effective date, so since the policies are effective January 1st, if you saw any treatment from October to January and you went out on disability in 2020 for that item or that illness, Unum will not pay. So it's not a compensable event. You have a 12-month waiting period at that time. But if it's something different, then it is a payable event. Long-term disability, similar, 60% of your pre-disability earnings, monthly earnings, up to $7,500 a month. This benefit begins after the 90th day, and this benefit does last until normal Social Security retirement age. Again, the same pre-existing limitation clause exists for the long-term disability. Any questions? Okay. I believe we have Trevor on the telephone, and he's going to speak briefly about the AFLAC products that are available. These are 100% voluntary products.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so AFLAC is different than the major medical. The major medical is going to pay the doctors and hospitals when something happens to you. AFLAC's different in that they will pay you in cash when something happens to you. So it's a little bit of a different concept. Now, the reason why they do that, AFLAC's assuming that if something happens to you medically, whether you're sick, whether you're hurt, that you're typically not going to be at work the next day, or maybe not for a little bit. So they pay fast and they pay in cash, so that you have that money ready to pay your medical bills, or to maybe just keep the lights on, or rent paid, or food on the table, and things like that. But you can use it at your discretion. A couple things about Aflac. If you hear about something you like, a couple neat things is you can keep the policies if you leave the company for any reason. Your prices stay the same. And if you use the things a lot, you're getting hurt a lot or getting sick a lot, they can't take those plans away from you. So once you have them in place, they're yours. All right. Now I'm going to tell you guys prices and things like that as I go over the 5 different plans that I'm going to talk about. If you need to hear more information, we're going to get you my contact information, or we can take your information down and reach back out to you at that point. Okay, so the first plan I'm going to talk about is the cancer plan. Really one of the more important policies that we do, reason being, cancer is the leading cause of bankruptcies due to medical related costs. So what that plan does, that plan is going to pay a $2,000 initial benefit amount if you were ever diagnosed with cancer. That number goes up by $500 every year that you have the policy in place, that you don't have cancer, up until the age of 65. Dependents are free under the policy, and they are covered at a $10,000 initial benefit amount up until the age of 26. All right. There is a wellness component to the cancer plan. It's $40 per covered person per year. So if you're doing any type of cancer screening, you can get compensated for that stuff. There is daily hospital benefits. There is chemo and radiation, stem cell, bone marrow. It does a few things that sometimes major medical doesn't do. Experimental drugs and treatment, travel costs, things like that. Essentially, if you get cancer, then the neat thing about this policy is also that there is no maximum for what the policy will pay. So if you have cancer for 2 months, or you have cancer for 3 years, it's going to continue paying. It will end up paying you tens and tens of thousands of dollars in that situation. The price for that policy is going to be, let's see here, you're looking at $11.40 for an individual. Like I said, kids are free. If you wanted to cover a spouse, you're looking at $20.58. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on how the cancer policy works? If not, I'll just move on then. All right, so the next one I'm going to talk about is the accident plan. Aflac breaks everything into injury and sickness. Cancer is obviously sickness. Accident is the injury components. Now, this is a very, very robust policy in what it pays. For the little stuff, I've actually personally cracked a tooth and had to get a crown put on. This policy paid almost $600 when that happened. So that's a smaller example. I also had a major back surgery, paid me $6,000 on this plan also. So it does big stuff, it does little stuff. You even cut your finger making dinner tonight and you get 3 stitches on it. You're probably going to be back at work tomorrow, but it's still going to pay you out $400 or $500. All right. Now, the way this thing works, there's 2 different rules. Can't be committing a crime when you get hurt. Pretty straightforward. And then you need to go and see a medical professional within 3 days of being hurt. That's what's going to start you getting paid. Now, to make the claims with Aflac, all we need is the medical notes and codes. Once I have those things in hand, I get those things uploaded to Aflac. They're actually doing next day pay. So they will actually direct deposit you that money. So if something happens where you're hurt and you need to go in, they're going to pay $120 for walking through the door. Same thing for kids, spouse. If you have x-rays while you're there, it's going to jump up to $150. If you go to the ER, it's going to be $170 or $200 if you go into the emergency room. Now, there is an initial hospitalization benefit. If you go overnight in the hospital, it is going to pay you $1,000 for the first night. It will pay you $200 a day going forward after that. If you're in the ICU, it jumps up to $1,500 for the first night, and then it's $600 a day going forward. It is going to pay you a few $100s to do medical imaging, MRIs and EEGs, CT scans. There are follow-up visits, chiropractic benefits built into the policy, physical therapy benefits built into the policy. There is blood and plasma. There is ambulance benefits. There is a Kelly Blue Book of injuries. So what that means is every different possible thing you do to yourself, there's a nominal amount of money attributed to it. So if you were to heaven forbid, break every bone in your body, each bone is worth something, so it'll all add up. There's no maximum. So something like each stitch is going to pay you $35 up to coma, paralysis, and third-degree burns is $10,000. Broken bones, torn ligaments, all that other different stuff. Concussions is going to be in the middle. There are surgical benefits built into the policy, pain management. They even go so far as to pay you for wheelchairs or crutches. Maybe you need a home modification. Maybe you need to get handlebars put in the shower or a ramp put up to your house. They'll pay you $3,000 to do those things. There is accidental death life insurance that comes with the policy. There is an additional wellness of $60 once per family. So whoever does it first, if you get your teeth cleaned, eyes checked, physical, cancer screening, $60 payout on that stuff. There is also travel related costs. So if you're more than 50 miles away from home, they will actually put your family up in a hotel, helping out with gas mileage also. So it's kind of a coverall for anything to do with injuries. Price on this policy is going to be $9.84 a paycheck for an individual. If you were a single parent and wanted kids on there, it jumps up to $15.48. And if you had everybody in the family covered, yourself, spouse, and kids, you're looking at $19.50 a paycheck. Really, really, really great plan. Really goes nice if you're going with that higher deductible major medical plan. All right, any questions on how the accident plan works? Anybody have anything for me? Okay. All right, I am going to move on then to the third plan, the hospital choice. Now, Aflac, as I said earlier, breaks everything into injury and sickness. The hospital choice plan actually does a combination of both. All right, it's a cover-all. So if you go to the hospital for any reason, you're overnight in the hospital, it's an additional $1,000 for the first night overnight in the hospital. Now, if it is an injury related thing, hospital and accident will pay on top of each other. All right. So in that example I gave you earlier, when I had my major back surgery where it paid me $6,000 under accident, hospital plan gave me an additional $2,000 on top of that. All right. It does the injury side of things. The accident plan does it a little bit more, actually a lot better. But if it's injury related, the hospital choice is going to help out with those things too. If you are family planning, if you're not pregnant yet and you have this plan in place before you are pregnant, it will pay a few $1,000s upon birth of a child also. Let's see here. Going forward, it does surgical benefits, emergency room benefits. There are daily hospitalization benefits, ICU benefits. There's medical imaging, doctor's visits, specialist visits, secondary surgical opinions, invasive diagnostic exams, more ambulance benefits. Essentially anything that anything that you would need to go see a doctor for, this is going to pay out something. All right, so pretty straightforward on that. Now this one's a little more expensive because no matter what you do, it is going to pay out. So if you're under the age of 50, you're looking at $26.10 a paycheck for yourself. This one is age banded, so it does go up a little bit until the age of 60, about $3 more expensive, so you're about 29. If you are over 60 years old, it jumps up to 33 per paycheck. To give you an idea, if you're covering an entire family, under the age of 50 for the initial insured is going to be $47.76. That includes kids and spouse. If you are 50 years old, it's going to jump up to 54. If you are 60 and older, it's going to jump up to 63. And then I don't know if I mentioned this, but with Aflac, once you cover one kid, the rest are free up until the age of 26. Any questions on how the hospital choice plan works? Okay, moving on. Critical illness and plus rider. So what this plan does, if you have the accident plan or you have the hospital choice plan, you're allowed to have this rider. It's pretty straightforward. It is a $5,000 lump sum payment for more catastrophic type things. If you have a heart attack, stroke, ALS, MS, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, brain injuries, permanent loss of sight, hearing, speech, coma, paralysis, sudden cardiac arrest, it's going to pay you a $5,000 initial benefit amount. There is also a $2,500 reoccurrence benefit. And then there is another small list of serious illnesses that can happen to you. It's going to be a $1,250 benefit. If you have Lyme disease or necrotizing fasciitis, there's a couple other different things, but it's a quick little lump sum. That thing goes for an individual, just to kind of give you an idea, this thing's got a ton of different age bands on it, but goes from about $1.44 a paycheck up to about $5 for an individual for a paycheck. All right, so not very expensive. And then the fifth thing, I'm just going to kind of glaze over that one real quick. It's another lump sum. Essentially, if you are really worried about the heart-related problems, the more catastrophic type stuff, it's an additional $10,000 lump sum that will pay you for heart attack, strokes, cardiac arrest, a few other different catastrophic ailments. But if you're really worried about the heart attack things, that is something that you can tack on top. That one, once again, it's only going to be an additional $2 to about $8 a paycheck, just depending on your age. We can get you exact quotes on different things there, collect your information when we are done. Does anybody have any questions on how the AFLAC works? All right, I think we're okay then.
Thank you so much, Trevor. Thank you very much. So you can either contact Jose. I can send out an email with Trevor's information so you can call him directly. Keep in mind that you have that benefit to use for whatever you want. You have the amount the employer provides, and it can be used for all benefits, any of the benefits, so you can choose what you want to use that amount for. So we're going to wrap it up here with Legal Shield and ID Shield and some United Pet Care information. So Legal Shield obviously protects you, gives you some legal advice. They help with consultations, 24/7 access, standard will preparation. They can help you write letters and things of that nature. And ID Shield, of course, monitors your credit, makes sure that nobody's trying to access and ruin your good name. If you should become a victim of identity theft, they help with the restoration of that, make the phone calls to the credit bureaus and creditors on your behalf. United Pet Care, that's something that we launched earlier this year. So this is pet healthcare or pet healthcare discounts for services for any of your pets, with the exception of fish. I did ask that earlier this week. So you do have to enroll online for either one of these. You should have received a packet, and that should have all the information that you need. If you're currently enrolled, you do not need to re-enroll in any of the services other than the medical, dental, vision. If you're going to be enrolling in the life, the disability, or AFLAC, we do need that information as well. Everybody does need to log into D2 and get everything completed by November 12th, no exceptions. If you're enrolling in the life or disability, please complete those forms and send them to us. The flexible spending account, that does not automatically renew. It does require a form to be completed, and I believe everybody should have received an email or a form via email again. A health savings account, if it's open and you continue to enroll in that high deductible health plan, you're set. You don't have to do anything. If you're enrolling in that high deductible health plan for the first time, I do recommend you go into the UMB website. That information is located on your benefit guide. If you don't have that, please let me know. I could be happy to send it out to you. Any questions, concerns, comments? So apologize for that. Again, if you're enrolled in the plans today and you don't want to make any changes, unfortunately, we do require that you go on to the D2 system and complete that enrollment. If you need information on how to access or navigate through that system, I can send you a quick tutorial. You can reach out to me directly and I can send it to you. Any questions? Okay, thank you everybody for your time today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I will send out a follow-up email.
Thank
Can
you.
I just clarify that last?
I'm sorry?
That last slide. Can I just clarify the last slide said it's due by November 12th, but I thought verbally you said December 12th. So which one is it?
It's November, it's not December.
Okay.
Did I understand correctly? You said if we just want to continue the plan, the medical plan, and the HSA that we have this year, we do not have to re-sign up, or we do have to re-sign up for it?
Only for the medical portion. You don't have to re-enroll for the HSA. That will stay open, and whatever amounts you elect on your election form to go into the HSA account will go in there,
Okay.
but you do need to navigate through that system again.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, everybody, so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks.